I think it's about coming to terms that college fun was over. And it's like, hello, welcome to the real life. Some people, they dream of success. The others, they stay awake to achieve it. Enjoy the change because you asked for this change, and stay true to the change, and you will succeed. Every voice heard is every life changed. And I think that matters a lot. Success is not an end in itself. I think success is a journey. A leader is somebody who knows the way, who goes the way, and who shows the way. If you're not winning, means there's something to learn. So learn and grow, and you will win one day.
I am your host, Gaurav Garg, and we welcome all our viewers to our show, Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Ms. Charul. He is the co-founder and managing partner of Mātiti Group and the CEO of Mātiti People and Mātiti Green. As a leader, Charul endorses fearless and purposeful leadership and is an unwavering optimist. On the other side of the table, she manages global human capital portfolios and hence endorses the need of mindset shift. She is a passionate content creator and is an international public and motivational speaker. She sits in the advisory board of World HRD Congress, is an esteemed Council Member of WICCI and is also a Senior Assessor with Dubai Economic Department. Charul C Jaitly had recently been crowned as Miss UAE International. It's a pleasure to welcome Ms. Charul to our show, Amazing Mentor. Welcome, Charul.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. It's a pleasure to be here. You make me sound like a celebrity. That was a long and I would like to believe a powerful introduction. So thank you for that.
My pleasure. So tell us about your childhood and any particular childhood memory that strikes your mind when we use the word childhood.
I think all of us in today's day and age, we're so busy growing up that we tend to forget our childhood, right? I, for one, was a super ambitious young girl. All I ever wanted to do was grow, learn, and move out. So in terms of childhood memories, I have far and few. So Gaurav, I think my childhood best memory is sneaking into my grandmother's room, and she only allowed me, I was her favorite child, yeah. So she only allowed me to store my goodies, the chocolates that your uncles will give you, or some sweet that you like the most. So she allowed me to store it in a cupboard, and none of my siblings or my cousins in summer holidays were allowed inside. So the bittersweet memory is I was the favorite child of my grandmother, but all my siblings and my cousins hated because I got preferential treatment. And it was funny. They would sneak into her room, get away all the chocolates. I would take a nap in the afternoon, get up later, everything is gone. So yeah, that was funny at the time. Not so funny at the time, it's funny now.
So this was the sweetest part. What about the notorious memory?
Notorious? It's strange. I was a very docile girl. While I was very ambitious and I think I was a dream child, okay? If I ask my parents, I was super good in academics. I was extremely, extremely well-mannered. I always conducted myself in the way my parents or my grandparents would have wanted me, which is a reason why my siblings were not my favorite friends. But I was a good child. I think the notoriousness got into me after 10th, 12th grade. Till then, I was very docile.
So what about your educational background, schooling and higher education?
I was born in a not so small or not so big city in the upper part of our country in Uttar Pradesh, in the north of India, in a city called Kanpur. That's my birth city. So I did my initial schooling there. I am an ICSE pass out, which is Delhi board. Immediately after my schooling, I joined Institute of Hotel Management, IHM Mumbai. That's where my transition into the cosmopolitan life happened. Post which my career took off, and then after a few years of work, I then decided to do my MBA. I did it from the UK, from University of Wales in the Cardiff, and currently I'm pursuing my PhD in competitive intelligence.
Best of luck for your PhD. So what about your dream profession? When I grow up, I want to be like this, or I want to choose that particular profession.
So when I was a little girl, I think, you and I and people who have, had 10, 12, 15 years of career would appreciate my emotion here. When I was a little girl, up until I think 6th, 7th grade, I wanted to become a doctor. So, in summer holidays when cousins would come and when you role play and you play together as kids, I was always the doctor. But I think then I realized, because I saw an aunt of mine studying to become a doctor, and I was like, that looks very hard. I don't want to do that. It's too much of studies. So then I said, no, I want to become an engineer, because at that time, these were the options, let's face it, right? So much so that I prepared and I appeared for IIT, and thank God I did not clear it, because I don't think there was an IITian hiding in me. I was just being pushed to do it. So yeah, I think that dream job kept evolving, and fast forward to my life today, I think I'm still learning and growing. So I still feel I have to explore the best part of my career or my life.
So what about so as you told that after 10th, I was little bit notorious. So what about your college memories?
I have some very fond college memories, sitting outside of college. So our college was on Veer Savarkar Marg in Mumbai, and just across the college, you cross the main road and was the beach. So I have my love for food, my love for vada pav got awakened during that time. And I remember after 5:30 when the college would get over, all of us, it's like a mass migration that would happen of the students from the college across the road to the beach. And we would have our cutting chai and vada pav, or the sugarcane juice and vada pav. It was a beautiful life. But on the hindsight, I think I rediscovered myself in college in terms of how confident I was, how agile I was, how much I was willing to learn, how hungry I was to explore life. So there were many aspects of my own self-exploration that happened, which I'm very thankful for.
So who was your role model in your early childhood?
I like how you ended the question, in your early childhood, because I think, role models, not that I think I know it for a fact, for each one of us through different stages of life, we need to look up to somebody else, right? But talking about childhood, Gaurav, my role model, I think, were the women in my life, in my family. My grandmother, who I really looked up to, she was a super confident, tall, incredible woman. My mother, who is a warrior, who has fought every battle and aced it too. Yeah. And then, all the very selective friends, my girlfriends, who I surround myself with, they have been immense source of, courage and inspiration to me. So I think, as a child, women in my life, in my family, were the key inspiration and people who I looked up to.
So where did you start your career journey from?
So I graduated from IHM Mumbai, and you have campus placements. So I would say I was a very lucky girl. So in campus placements, Gaurav, I closed the season with 6 offer letters in my hand. I had offers from top hotels in India, top airlines. At that time, call center, concept was coming up big time. Like GE was setting up call centers. So I had lots to choose from. I decided to continue with the field that I was studying in, which was in hotel and hospitality. My first job, therefore, was with the Oberoi Group.
So what were your initial days challenges when you joined Oberoi Group?
I think it's about coming to terms that college fun was over. And it's like, hello, welcome to the real life. It was time to apply all that you'd learned. So learning, and I don't want to get into a discussion about our academic system and, how the knowledge is conveyed. But there is a very contrasting distinction between what you learn and how life is. And that's where your mastery of applying your knowledge comes into play. So I think that's where it got very interesting. It's like, but I learned it that way. And it's like, no, girl, you cannot work like that. You have to apply it using your little, gray matter here. You can't just apply it by the book. So I think I had a lot of knowledge with little experience. And starting to gather that experience and succeeding at it proved to be a bit challenging, which I think should be the case with everybody starting their career.
So how did you cope up with those challenges?
You see, I can be a bull. When I say a bull, stubborn in a very positive way. When I want to learn something, not because I have to prove something to someone, but it's about becoming better at it, making your own life better. Then I make it a point to give it my all, right? And you're reminding me of a quote that I often live by is, some people, they dream of success, the others, they stay awake to achieve it. So I was the latter one. I was the second category, right? I just didn't want to sit and scratch my head and dream about things. I really wanted to, work towards them and make them happen.
So, who was your mentor when you started your professional journey?
I think there are a few, Gaurav, because my career grew so rapidly. I was moving sectors, I was moving divisions, I was moving continents, and that required for me to kind of look out to and reach out to people who were, let's say, relevant to that part of my life. Because if I say my mother is my lifelong mentor, right, for example, but I would not call her up when I needed advice fixing an issue at work, right? Maybe I could have, but that's not the choice I made at the time, right? So my majority of career was in Dubai, which is where I'm based now. I studied in the UK, I've lived in the Caribbean, I have also, traveled, worked and lived in other parts of Europe and US. So I think my let's say the linchpin as a mentor kept moving. I'm finding it difficult right now to give you one name, but some people who I would always lean on, let's say my brother, he was like a good conduit of advice. He would always be there, not necessarily work-related advice, but you generally could download on him. Few close friends, a very close circle of some guidance and discussions. That's it.
So, what's that one thing you love about your profession the most?
What I love the most about my profession, Gaurav, would be the constant need and urge to learn and grow more. Because I think that what has rendered me so agile, resilient, and so, let's say, stable no matter what the circumstances around me are. So yeah, there was so much to learn and achieve, and I was at it. I wanted to do it, and life treated me well. So yeah.
So, when you were crowned UAE International, what was the feeling?
It was not a feeling, it was many, many feelings, right? The story that led up to the crown is a bittersweet one, and also something which is very close to my heart. And they say beauty is an expression, and no matter how beautiful one looks wearing the crown, I think the expression behind it is what is important for me. It was last year, not too long back. I was busy running my business, getting on with my things, and I was not well physically. So I went for a regular check with my doctor here in Dubai. And he asked me to get some tests done, which I did, and the reports did not look right. So one thing led to another, and there were many, many tests that happened after that. And I just found myself running from the pharmacy to the clinic to the pathology, and I was literally pillar to post figuring out what's going on. And the reports were kind of leading to a diagnosis which did not look very friendly at the time. In the midst of all this chaos, I got a call from the pageant team. They said, we found you social handles. You look like a profile which is very fitting for this pageant, and we want you to register. I kept on dilly-dallying it. The last thing I knew was, at the last minute, pack up my bags and travel to India for a very, very complex surgery. It was almost a 9-hour-long surgery, life-altering, if you ask me. I, to be honest, thought my life was done. I was in that space where it looked very difficult to bounce back. But of course, God has different plans and my life had different plans. So I remember after the surgery lying down in the bed, and the pageant team was, I think an award needs to be given to them for consistency in following up. They were calling me, and I had told them that I am on an emergency leave because it was such a personal detail. I wasn't ready to share it at the time. I was lying with all those drips and in the hospital bed, and the nurses coming and going, and my phone was constantly buzzing, and it was the pageant team calling. And I was laughing to my husband saying, I can't even move my arm or a finger, and they think I'll dress up like a doll and walk the ramp. And we laughed and we brushed it under the carpet. But sure enough, after a month of my surgery, which is almost now end of November, I flew back to Dubai. My surgery was successful. My recovery was fantastic. So the doctors were very happy. And I got this final call from the pageant team saying, ma'am, we've really been relentlessly trying. Do you want to? And I was like, now it's less than 12 days left. Can I still register? They're like, yes, if you want to come on board, we would love to welcome you, into the program. And it was literally 12 days before, Gaurav, that I said yes to it. I filled up the forms because my doctor allowed me by that time. He felt my recovery was good enough. And I'll say this, Gaurav, because I got into that not because I wanted to win it. My agenda was not that. So my want of experience was not tied to an outcome. My want for this experience was only to kind of experience the sanity as a woman again, because I'd been through so much. and I just wanted to, change the scene and dress up, feel good about myself, and just have a good time. And there is an underlying learning for me and for anybody who's listening to this is when we get into such an experience, not attaching ourselves to the outcome. It can be a beautiful journey because I had a ball of a time for those 2.5 days, and you have all the chances that you will emerge as a winner, which I did, right? So no photo shoots, no rehearsals, no dress rehearsals. I was like that wild card, right? And I brought the crown home. So I'm super, super thrilled about this. And let me also say this. I know it's a very long answer, but it's important because I procrastinated. I kind of talked my own selves out of this that no. A lot of people go through a lot of challenges. No, I mean, a lot of people have perhaps more dramatic experiences than mine. But I was like, no, I can keep procrastinating it, or I can choose to share it because I think there are people who want to hear my story. And one should have the courage to speak up because every voice heard is every life changed. And I think that matters a lot.
How high was your confidence level before and post you were crowned UAE International?
Look, I've always been a very confident person, right? Not overconfident, but very positively confident about myself. Believe you me, if you ask my parents and siblings as a child, I was the complete opposite. So I earned it. But given my 1 year of experience with my physical pains and the surgery and all of that, I was a bit shaken. I was a bit tattered. So I think the crowning happened at the time when validation is a very strong word. So I'm choosing the right word. I think when I needed to rediscover myself, when I needed to reconnect with myself, that crown helped me do that. And it nipped it in the bud. It happened within months of me getting through my surgery, and then this happened. So I'm very thankful that the life did not give me that time to sit and sulk or feel like a victim or do any of those things. I did not have any time. It was like, okay, bam, you've won. Now you have to do this. Now press release. Now radio interview. Now this. Now magazine. And now another show. And bam, bam, bam. And then I won a few awards along the way. So yeah, very, very thankful. Very thankful.
So what was your first award and what was the experience when you received your first award?
First award was like a little girl. It was, I think it was a music competition. So I was part of a group. It was not a solo. It's so funny, Gaurav, you asked this because as I was in the school, I was always the top 3 rankers, always in the class. However, when the final results, so through the semesters, I'm top 3. As soon as the final results come, I'm the 4th ranker. So when they invite kids on stage to receive the gift or the trophy, I was never invited on stage. And I think it was a jinx that I had in my own head that I'll never be top 3 in the final. So just being so close and yet not winning it was very difficult. So I remember I was in 8th or 9th grade and we were in this choir and it was a singing competition and we as a group won the first prize. And it was phenomenal. I think I was bursting with tears of joy and my friends thought I was cuckoo because they're like, okay, it's 20 of us. Why are you so excited? I was like, you have no idea how long I've waited for this. So it was exceptional. And look, now that you ask it, it's so fresh in my head. So thank you.
So how would you define success?
I think success is not an end in itself. I think success is a journey. I think success is that flight of steps that you take in your journey of life till you reach your end post. So you got to keep climbing. You got to recalibrate yourself and not get stuck in the present moment saying, oh, I have achieved this and now this is success and there is nothing more. Having said that, enjoy what you achieve. So nobody is saying give your life, because sometimes they say if you focus too much on making a life, then when will you actually make a life? It's good to continue to aim for succeeding at things, but just know that it's an ongoing journey and don't get satisfied with where you are half the way and think you've seen and done enough, because there's so much more to explore and learn.
So if you were able to get hold of time machine, which phase of your life would you like to visit?
A bit of a tricky answer to that. I think each phase in our life has a certain relevance and purpose. And I think going through those phases in my life, I have fulfilled my purpose of experiencing whatever came my way. And now is my time to be where I am today. Yeah, I think I would choose to stay where I am and would want to understand what lies ahead rather than go and dig up my past. So very, very forward thinking, and I'd like to keep it that way.
So, what does leadership mean to you?
I always tell people who I work with, leadership is all about the leader. And then it becomes very subjective because a leader defines what leadership means in this context. So according to me, if you ask me, a leader is somebody who knows the way, who goes the way, and who shows the way. So you got to know what you're doing. You got to do what you say that you're so good at. But what is most important is you got to show the way to others as well. Because leadership is all about influence. It's not about authority.
So, how has been your journey from F&B Oberoi Flights and Airport Services to co-founder and managing partner, Mātiti Group?
Wow. That's like 18 years of my life wrapped in one question. Where should I start and finish that, Gaurav? It's been nothing short of a miracle, if you ask me. Yeah. If I choose to look at it that way, it has been miraculous how things have happened. It's also a clear sign that, according to me, one must just flow with life. Like, it's important to be structured, but do not compartmentalize your life, your career, your decisions in such a way that you start to restrict yourself from your own growth. And if you allow yourselves to just flow freely with what life has to offer, you will be surprised with your own self how beautifully your career and your life blossoms, right? So if you ask me, I started my career in hotels, right? I moved from hospitality to aviation, to then retail, to technology, to e-commerce, to consulting firms, strategy consulting, which was with Palladium, to now running my own business. From India to UAE to UK to the Caribbean to Canada, back to UAE to US to I don't know where not. So, from sectors to locations, and then talk about teams and the complexities in the cultures, because when you're out of India, and I think even in India, there are companies and brands who have very strong cultures in the way they work. And, when you start to explore internationally, you realize it's a pantomime. Like, there's so many different values and cultures and things that you never thought were so important for people. And it's about, matter of life and death for them. It's been a total curveball. But the beauty is, I was always ready to catch that ball. I was always there. And how I was ready to catch that curveball is by preparing myself educationally, engaging with influencers in the circle, in the industry. It's about staying ahead of the curve. And then what life presents to you, it should not surprise you so much. Of course, there is an experience to be had and there is a learning to complete, and which we all do in our own way. But yeah, where I am right now, Gaurav, I call myself I'm fearless and I'm unstoppable. So yeah, I'm ready to go with the life, and I think one should just embrace where life takes them.
So where did you get this idea of founding Mātiti Group?
The whole credit of Mātiti is not mine. It's me and my partner, my husband, Vikrant. So me and Vikrant, we co-founded Mātiti Group in 2016. 2016 was a very special time in our life as a couple and as a family. I was at the helm of my career as the global head of human capital for a strategy consulting house. I was managing their over 35-40 country offices, a team strength of around 12,000 employees. I was in a place where there was nothing more in that part of my growth in an organization. And my partner had moved and relocated to Dubai, and we always had a plan to start something of our own. So when we set up Mātiti Group, our vision was to leverage our own strengths and backgrounds. When you talk about servicing a client, when you set up, for example, Gaurav, you are conducting or hosting this podcast. You are the subject matter expert in this, right? You love what you're doing. If I want to come and help you, I should come and tell you things which enable you to do your work better and empower you to be more capable of doing what you do. So that is our ethos, that we wanted to go to the clients and enable them and empower them with whatever they do. Because you are the best at what you do and you know it. So with that thought in mind, we set up Mātiti Group. At the start, we were a very small boutique consulting house. And we had two verticals, which is Mātiti People, dedicated for people services, Mātiti Tech, which is dedicated for technology. And now we are 6 verticals strong, and we have touched upon many more clients around the world. So I think the credit for setting up the business is partially mine and partially my husband's, my partner's. And if I may just quickly say, the word Mātiti, we spent a lot of time researching the name because we wanted for it to kind of exemplify our vision with the brand. And it comes from Vedas, the word Mātiti. And it means being in multiple states at the same time. Like you're here, but you're also there. You're there, but you're also over there. So you can be in multiple states at the same time. And that's what we wanted to do. So if you are an organization, you come to us. We help you with your people work, with your technology work, with sustainability, with everything else. Mātiti Group, like I said, we started with people and technology, right? So Mātiti Group is our holding company. Mātiti People is our people arm. And under that, we do talent attraction, talent management, leadership coaching and development. I personally love doing a lot of bespoke work in mental health space. So especially post-COVID, a lot of our clients utilized our services where we helped change the mindset of employees as they were coming back to work. We do a lot of something called fusion training. Fusion training is a combination. So training and learning, a lot of people do. Our approach, fusion training, it talks about not just experiencing the learning, but absorption and narration of that learning as well in the future. We do a lot of bespoke work in diversity and inclusion because that's very important. So companies going through mergers, acquisitions, reorganizations, those complex changes, we help them steer through that through people aspect. Our technology arm is focused on blockchain and AI work. So we develop platforms for clients. We also have some standard toolkit that we offer to our customers depending on their needs. Our third arm is called Mātiti Green, which is our sustainability arm. And through this arm, we are planting millions of trees around the world. It's an AI and blockchain based platform. And through that platform, you can travel to the location of your tree. Through the chatbot, you can chat with the tree. You can see the impact you're making on the UN SDGs. You can see how much of CO2 you're sequestering and do a lot of cool things. And we're very proud because you think of top 10 brands around the world, and 50 to 60% of those brands are onboarded with us. Then we have Mātiti Capital, which is our trade funding arm. So we do venture capital funding work through Mātiti Capital. We have Mātiti Meds, which is our trading arm. And we have Activity Network, which is our cyber forensic and defense procurement work. So we are 6 verticals strong now. We've come a long way, but I also think we have a long way to go.
What were the initial challenges you faced while starting your company, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Our experience and our challenges, some were very common and some were very unique. Now, when I say common, I think when you set up a business, the biggest challenges is the mindset, right? Because when you're working, there is a check coming end of every month, your utilities are paid, and there is a certain rhythm and consistency to your way of life. But when you get out of that rhythm of your life and you start to dance to a new beat, and then your legs start to cramp, I'm using this analogy, your legs start to cramp and your shoulder starts to hurt, and you're like, oh, I thought this dance is going to be so much fun, but it's starting to, pain me and hurt me. We are 2 educated, smart, experienced people, but everybody has their own set of experience. Setting up a company overseas is always a challenge. The documentation and the bureaucracy with it can be a bit nerve-wracking, if you may, at times. The capital that you have to invest in continuing to keep your business growing. So I think, setting up a business shall not be an afterthought. It needs to be a planned exercise. And I'd like to give ourselves a pat on the back that we did some good work in planning to set up our business in a way that, of course, we will hit bumps on the road as we go along, but we'll not break down. We will slow down, we will accelerate when we can, get over that hump, go on the other side, but not get in a stage where we break down and there is no fuel and we're looking around. So endless experiences, endless learnings. I think it will continue to happen as we grow the business. Because also, Gaurav, we are very notorious that way. So if we excel in something, it's like, okay, now new geography. If we are good with this geography, this product is stable, okay, we diversify into a new product. And that's why we are sitting 6 verticals strong now.
So you wear many hats at the same time. You are business owner, you are keynote speaker, you are on a mission of planting thousands of trees, and you are also a fashion and beauty world. Which hat is your favorite one and why?
No favorites. I love all of them. and I think that's what makes me the Charul that I am. I'll tell you a funny incident, right? And here in UAE, in Dubai, I got crowned and, I was on the front page of Gulf News, I was on radio channels, and I was everywhere. So a lot of people got to know of me. And then there was Expo 2020 happening in Dubai, right? So I got invited and I was speaking together with, the Consulate General of India, the ambassadors and whatnot of the Indian Pavilion. Then I was at the Philippines Pavilion. So there was a lot of press cover that I was getting for good reasons. And then there was a speaking engagement on mental health for women empowerment. And this person saw me there. And I think that's when she had her fill and she grabbed me by my hand and she pulled me aside. She's like, do you have a twin sister? No, as far as I know, my parents created only one me. I think that flavor of being able to wear those multiple hats, not because I want to be a one-man show for everything. I think it came to me, it happened to me. I graciously accepted it. I worked towards acing it. And now I am enjoying this versatile portfolio that I'm able to cater to. Because really, right now I'm doing a podcast. Day before yesterday, I was talking at a crypto blockchain event. I'm sure you've seen that. 2 days before that, I was a jury in a beauty pageant show, and there are many pictures of that on the social media. And I think I enjoy that variety, that flavor. So, and the idea is to add value, not just for the sake of having fun. So, yeah.
So how would you define the term entrepreneur?
For me, an entrepreneur is somebody who is willing to get up and experience life afresh every day. Because you could be somebody who is employed, you could be somebody who has a job, but you choose to look at your job from a fresh perspective every day. You wish to look at every challenge that comes your way with a fresh set of perspective every day. And then you're an entrepreneur because you're looking at things from a new angle, from wanting to solve a problem. And what do entrepreneurs do? They find a problem and they come up with a unicorn idea to solve it.
So which country did you like the most to work with? India, Netherlands, Canada or UAE, and why?
If you ask me, the Indian in me loves my own country. I think I'm in love with India. In a heartbeat, I want to fly to India. Diwali, Dussehra, Holi, you name it. I'm always hopping on a plane going to family. I think the color, the vibrance, the culture that we have matches no other country. However, I have to also give a lot of credit to the country, the city I'm in right now. I've been here for in and out almost 19 years. In Dubai. I've lived here as a single young girl to a married woman now, to a business owner now, and I never felt as safe as I do here, being out on my own and just figuring out life on my own. Canada, if you ask me, has a part of my heart, a piece of my heart, because the Canadian people, believe me, I think they don't belong to this planet. They're from a different planet. They're the nicest people. They will help you with no expectation, which I think is rare. So if you ask me, I think I have bits from every part of the world where I've traveled to. I can't wait to explore more. So no favorites, but yeah, there is a part of a culture or an element of the society that touched or struck a chord with me always.
So what you miss about India the most?
Family, my parents, my siblings, yeah. Amazing food. I think I would not be this size if I continue to live in India. Let's talk about sweets, yeah? So my middle name is Chaturvedi. Chaturvedis are the people from up north in India who have a sweet tooth. If you go to the west, the Bengali sweet is to die for. North has its own delicacies and sweets. You go to south and there's a whole platter of sweets. So I think I miss that bit. And my mouth is watering as we speak. So sweets it is.
So what were the major difference if we consider work culture among all the countries you have worked with?
I think the difference in the work culture, if you really ask me, is diminishing as we speak. Because really the world is becoming such a small place. So when I first moved out of India, I think there was a very contrast in my experience from India to the Caribbean to UAE to UK, because there was still a majority of a population in these countries which had lived all their life in their own continent or in their own country and not traveled out so much. But nowadays, I think everybody is everywhere. That cross pollination of cultures, values, it happens so extensively. I give you an example. Literally, I could be anywhere on this planet, and it has literally happened with me. And I would be in a conversation, and you meet new people, they ask you where you're from, where was you born. And I always find one person from Kanpur. I don't know how that happens, but it could be a very, C-suite, very small circle of a very big corporate in Canada, meeting up for dinner, and I'll find somebody whose wife or a husband or whatever is from Kanpur. And I think we are a truly global planet right now, so it's been amazing.
So we talked about your inspiration in your early childhood and the mentor in your initial stages. Who is your mentor right now?
You see, there is a picture over here. There's a little candle in front of it. I don't call him my guru or spiritual guide, because then it puts somebody in a different pedestal. No. For me, he's a friend. He's a mentor. He's, let's say, a confidant. And I leave it at that, because that's exactly what he means to me. He's not an idol. He's not somebody I put in my temple to pray. No, he's a person in flesh and blood like you and me. He's alive, and he's perhaps younger than me, if you ask me. But I think his state is evolved. His inner state is very evolved, where he sees and understands life far better than, I will not speak for you, I'll speak for myself, than how I understand life. His name is Maitreya Dadashriji. Maitreya means a friend, a divine friend, and Dadashriji is his name. I found Maitreya Dadashriji, Gaurav, when I was at the lowest in my life. There was a lot going on in my life. Professionally, personally, relationship-wise, health-wise. I came to a point where I thought, this is it. My life will always be so painful and so miserable, and that there's nothing good that will come out of my life in this lifetime. It's a very lowly state, and I do not wish it upon anyone. I wish to acknowledge that part of my life very openly on a social platform like this, because I think it's important. I think it's important to express our vulnerable side as well. Otherwise, people think, oh, she's also hoity-toity and happy, and she does not know what life is all about. And that's not the fact, right? So it was around 2014-15, Gaurav, when I was literally at my lowest. If I look back at a time when I was at my lowest consciously, it was at that time. The entry or introduction to Dadashriji, who has created something called Maitri Bodh Parivar. It's a family of friends, and through their teachings and through their programs, I transformed into somebody where my parents, my friends would come and call me and tell me that you look like a different person altogether. Like something in you has shifted. And it's no kriya or anything like they talk about in old, mythological books and everything. Like I don't stand on my head. I don't go and sit inside a cave and not talk to the world. It's about living my life, my day-to-day life, and the inner work that I do through, small practices, through meditations, having a morning ritual. Now I'm an early riser. I get up at 4:35 in the morning. Nobody forced me to, but how that has changed me, how that has allowed me to explore my own inner strengths, how it has allowed me to open up new opportunities for me, it's nothing short of a miracle. So I'm truly, truly blessed to have made his acquaintance. I'm truly blessed to have received his learnings, and there is a part of me which says there is a purpose in my going through this nice learning and nice experiences and all the awards I'm winning and the places I'm going and name that I'm making for myself, is to pay it forward. And I hope whoever listens to this podcast gets urged to, if not ask me who he is, type, Google, read up about him, and start their own journey in whichever way they want.
So what is the importance of Guru in your life?
Guru for me is somebody who understands me better than I understand myself. He is somebody who finds those pearls in me which I never knew existed within me. He helps me not just see myself face to face, but see beyond me. And to be honest, with the experience that I've had in the last couple of years, for me, the Guru is who helps me control my brain and help me connect with my heart.
What is the role of HR in current business?
I think HR, if you ask me, is all about people. And there is nothing that you can achieve in any business without having the right level of resources and talent in your organization. So I was at this conference the other day and we were talking about blockchain and innovation and AI. And I gave them 3 examples. If you have an organization which has a great idea but does not have people or the money to run the business, then you have organization B, which has very, very innovative idea, has all the money and does not have the people. And then the third, which has the idea, the money and the people, which will be successful. So you can have all the ideas in the world, you can have all the money and the resources. If you do not have the right people to run the organization or promote that idea, then it's as good as nothing. So I think people is the crux of the matter. They are the heart of the body. Without the heart, you can have the best brain, nothing will function.
So how easy and difficult is to manage employees?
Well, I would not say difficult, but it's not easy. Easy, difficult and not easy are not the same things, right? So difficult is a negative word, but especially in today's day and age where everybody is working everywhere. So I'm sure in India also, when you go to an organization, you will not have just people from India. There'll be people from other parts of the world, people who speak different languages. You know, the whole LGBT thing is becoming so important, and it should be important, right? So I think there are so many dimensions of human behavior, nature, that need to be understood, that need to be explored, inculcated in the organization, because they all are amazing. The value they add to the organization is incredible. My advice to people in HR or people who work towards, recruiting or managing talent in organization is to have an open view on how the world evolves, is to be accepting of each person's background. And one bit of advice here is, people are more than the ink on the paper that you see. Let's not compartmentalize people and their capabilities based on how much they put in terms of those bullet points and sentences on their resume, because you'll be surprised what all the person can offer.
So what advice would you like to give for young entrepreneurs who are just starting their journey?
I read this somewhere and I think it's relevant and it helps us put things in perspective, right? So they say when you are on top, then you become a topic of discussion. When you become a head of something, then you are a headline somewhere. And if too many people are talking about you behind your back, that means you are ahead and they are behind of you. So have that mindset that as you grow, as you do something unique, as you think outside of the box, there will be people who will challenge you, talk about you, would want to not demotivate, but would want, because they care for you, or they want you to have a certain fixed and standard way of living because it's more secure. They would want to persuade you to not experiment. I think appreciate their emotions, their feelings, but stay true to your idea, because only then you would be able to steer clear of all of this. Otherwise, one call from this one and you drop the idea. One challenge and you start to question yourself. And if you start going back and forth, you'll be one step forward and 10 backwards, and you're not helping yourself. So enjoy the change because you asked for this change, and stay true to the change, and you will succeed.
So what should be the initial steps to start your journey?
So let's look at a few aspects of it. One is the idea. Research it, validate it, explore it, discuss it with the SMEs, present it to people who you trust, and be sure that this is in line with where you want to grow in your life. That is very, very important. Second is have some kind of a support system. You can say, oh, I'm a one-man show or a one-woman show, but believe me, it never works like that. There is things happening in the background which enable you to become who you are. So have a support system. Family, friends, or whoever it is that you want to call upon, you should have that. Third is a backup plan. As much as we all want all of our ideas to be super successful and be the best, you're not preparing for failing. You are just having a backup plan, which means that there is a bouncing board. That does not mean you have to start from the scratch. Fourth is very, very tactical, but know your market, know your sector, understand sensitivities in your profession or in your line of business where you want to launch. if it's different currencies, if it's different cultures, if it's cross-border transaction, whatever it is. I think all that is very, very important. And last but not the least, it's more of an attitude towards your idea or your business. I think prepare for the worst, hope for the best and prepare for the worst, because you can only understand and predict so much. You'll be surprised how circumstances will make you want to, change your way, think about something new. So don't let that dishearten you, because if you are, again, I'm reminded, Nelson Mandela once said, in your life, you never fail. You either win or you learn. So if you're not winning, that does not mean you're failing. If you're not winning, means there's something to learn. So learn and grow and learn and grow, and you will win one day.
So now we'll start a rapid round.
Okay, yeah, let's go for it.
Your favorite actor and actress?
My favorite actor and actress. I think my favorite actor would be my dad and the actress would be my mother, because the way they pull up a show when we are around them, it's not even funny. I've taken my eyes off Bollywood so much. So those are my stars.
Hard work, smart work, or luck?
Smart work.
Your favorite color?
Indigo.
Your favorite destination?
Where the ashram is, it's in Karjat. It's very close to Mumbai actually. So Karjat is where the ashram of Metribudh Parivar is. I think that's my favorite destination.
Your dream house?
House in Karjat.
Your favorite adventure?
Anything to do with water. Paddle boarding, diving, deep sea diving and all of that. That's what I would love to do. I've done some of it, would like to do more.
At last, one line that defines you.
The line that defines me, Gaurav, is somebody who does things that light them up. And when I say light them up, is the illumination from within. So anything that gives you contentment, joy, fulfillment is what you must do and is what I do. And I think a lot of things are giving me joy nowadays. That's why you see me everywhere. And please, to all the audience listening, have lots and lots of gratitude for everything beautiful that has been given to you in this life. Once we have that gratitude, life will be full of surprises.
Thank you very much for your time, and it was a pleasure talking to you, and best of luck for your venture.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Same here. Thanks for watching Amazing Mentor. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get regular updates. Thank you very much.